What's up, guys? Welcome to the Alpha Bravo podcast, where we discuss everything real estate. Whether you're a beginner investor or you have some experience, we're going to share some tips and stories to help you succeed. I'm your co-host, Eric.
And I'm your co-host Freddie. And today we have a great show today. So we coming in with you and providing you with. We're gonna be talking about what inbound marketing.
Inbound marketing and the pros and cons of it versus outbound marketing, and kind of give a little bit more detail of kind of what it is. So to start off, I know last week we talked about outbound marketing, cold calling, SMS, direct mail.
Right.
And so now we're talking about inbound marketing. Examples of inbound marketing are PPC, SEO, Facebook ads, social media, and so we're going to dive into those a little bit deeper. So to begin with, let's break down a little bit between what is outbound marketing versus what is inbound marketing.
Cool. So outbound marketing, you pretty much are doing the outreach to the sellers, right? You going after the sellers, whether there's cold calling, sending a text message, voicemails, postcards. You going after the sellers, right? One of the things about outbound marketing is that the conversations, right? The conversations you're having with the seller, you probably will be the 10th person to talk to about selling their properties because all their investors are after these type of properties. But pretty much outbound marketing, you're just reaching out to the sellers. Now, on the other side, you have inbound marketing. I like this one better because conversations are a lot easier. So outbound marketing, you pretty much are putting your ads out there and you letting the seller find you. You have a product online and they'll go find you. They want to sell their house fast for cash. So they go and see Alpha Bravo. It's like, hey, this is my house I'd like to sell. How much can you give me? So we take the form and jump on the phone call with them and have a conversation with them, see what their struggles are, see if we could fix their issues, see if we are fit to work together on that deal with them, with the seller. So that's pretty much what's the difference between outbound and inbound. The conversation with each seller definitely different. The infrastructure that you gotta have to handle these type of leads are also different. So we're gonna do a dive a little bit deep on these, how you handle these type of leads,
Right.
and how to make sure you don't fumble on these deals, because that's what we're here for.
Right. So inbound marketing is more passive. People are coming to you, they're reaching out to you. Outbound marketing is a lot more active, right? So you're calling them saying, hey, are you looking to sell your house? Or you're texting them, hey, you're looking to sell this piece of land, right? So it's totally different dynamics, right? So let's start with one of the ones that we've been doing for a while now, Google PPC. So first of all, what does PPC even stand for? And then kind of like go into, I guess we can elaborate a little bit more on how we utilize it. But what does PPC even stand for?
Right. So Google PPC is just Google pay-per-click, right? So we have our ads out there in Google. So whenever you're searching, let's say a seller is going through foreclosure, they go online and say, how can I avoid from being foreclosure? I need to sell my house to avoid foreclosure. So our ads pop up because they are triggered by the keywords they are putting in their Google search, the seller, right? So our ads pop up, and I love these ads because they're working 24/7 for you. So one of the things that we did in our business is that we used to have a lot of VAs working for us, right? So we have the manpower, but we also have to manage these people. So we switched it and we started doing a lot more Google PPC. We were putting different ads. So our employees turn into our Google ads, right? So our Google ads are completely working for us 24/7, no call outs, no sick days, no coaching and training. Not coaching and training, but we definitely have to look at our ads, how performing, track our KPIs. A lot of stuff stays the same, but for the most part, whenever it's a Google PPC, it's just sellers looking to offload their properties because they are going through hardship, right? And that's when they find our ads, and that's how we get those leads.
Right. So imagine you're going through a divorce or you have some kind of financial hardship, and you're like, man, like I want to look into selling my house. I have equity in my home. I think I could sell my property, get some money out of it and pay for whatever I'm going through, whether it's whatever that financial hardship is. You got credit card debt, lost your job, whatever it is. So people go on Google and they say, sell my house fast if they need money right away.
Right.
So they Google sell my house fast, and then whenever you go on Google, there's usually about 3 or 4 sponsored websites, right? At first, that is your Google PPC. And so before you actually get to the highly ranking websites, we'll get into in a minute, that's SEO. But those first sponsored websites, that is the Google PPC ads at work. And so a lot of times they'll see, Alpha Bravo Properties, we buy your house fast, or cash offer fast, or whatever you want to put into your ad. And so all it is it's a way to drive traffic to your website. Because once it gets to your website, then they can look at any type of blogs that you've written, or reviews that you have, or whatever you have on your website, to kind of see who you are, what you do, how you can help out.
They get to know your company pretty
absolutely,
much.
Absolutely. Right? And so by driving, and so by every time someone clicks on that ad and it drives you to the website, that is the pay per click, right? You pay for every time someone clicks on that ad to go visit your website. So as you can imagine, that can get kind of pricey. So it's not something that I would start off with right away. Mm-hmm. I think this is more of an advanced strategy. Once you like you mentioned, you don't want to fumble the bag, right? And once you actually have some experience talking to sellers, and you kind of know what you're looking for, how you can help them out, I think that's when you can step into this realm and say, okay, like, I know when someone calls me and they need to sell their home, I got a solution for them. Right. Whether that's I'm gonna pay for it cash, or creative financing, or however you want to go about acquiring the property. So I agree with you as well that Google PPC is fantastic because it works 24/7. I think we've actually get so many leads at like 1 o'clock in the morning,
right?
Because people are up late at night. They're stressed. They're like, man, like I need to look into selling my house, and so that 1 o'clock in the morning a lead will come in, and I'll wake up and be like, oh man, like, I mean, that's how you know it's going to be a good lead, because they're up late at night and they're stressing about it. And so it's like, there's a pain point there, right? So then you can reach out to them and say, hey, I saw you input your information on our website, and it's in that conversation, they're more selling you than you're selling them. So it's talk about that dynamic. You're not calling them and having to convince them, hey, like, are you looking to sell your house? And then you have to go back and forth with this negotiation. Like, you're already 90% of the way there with them reaching out to you, say, hey, like, I need to sell my house.
So with the 90% you have in the contract signed, right? Whenever these calls come in, what would you say is the most important step after you on the phone call with them? Like, how will you capture that lead and make sure it turns into a contract?
Right. So the motivation is the biggest conversation I have with these sellers, because there's a reason why they took time out of their day to visit your website. They took time out of your day to fill it out, which takes a couple minutes. And then they take time to even jump on a phone call with you, have a 10 to 20 minute conversation, or longer sometimes, about why they need to sell their home. So diving into that motivation of like, okay, like, obviously you've taken all this time to do this. There's got to be a reason why. And once you dig into that deeper, then you can start asking the questions you need to ask about, okay, so it looks like you're going through divorce, okay? Mm-hmm. And you got to sell your house. The ex-wife doesn't want you to keep the house, or the ex-husband doesn't want you to keep the house, so you guys got to split it. You don't want to pay a realtor to go through it or whatever. So we have to find a way to pay this out, and get cash now. So
you're figuring out the problem that they're going through.
Correct.
Right. So you're figuring out the problem, and you go to your tool bag. Hey, I have the solution for your problem.
Correct.
Is that how it plays out?
Exactly. Because not every situation calls for a cash offer either. I mean, we have a lot of different tools in our tool belt, right? We have novations, we have creative financing. So we have all these, and even listing it with a realtor. I mean, I've passed over leads to you where it's like, hey, like, this isn't a house I don't think you need to necessarily sell at a discount. Here's a good realtor, I'll pass over you, and that could be a listing for you. Right. So, and a win for you is a win for me. So I think that, by having the tools in the tool belt, finding the motivation, finding the right tool that fits them, whether it's a cash offer, novation, creative, listing, whatever, and then giving them that offer, that gives you the best chance of converting that lead into an actual deal. because we're not just a a one trick a pony where it's like, hey, here's your cash offer, that's all we got,
Right.
Because the people you're dealing with that are reaching out to you, they're way more motivated than most people you're going to call, or text or whatever, because just the fact that they're taking action to reach out to you, there's a big reason why they're trying to do that.
Right. And that's something that a lot of us struggle with, it, which is action, right? We've seen a lot of people come in, they're going through foreclosure. We give them an offer 60 days before foreclosure, and then we get a phone call a day before foreclosure. Say,
Right.
hey, how about that offer?
Right.
Like, well, sir, we already bought something else. It happens. Stuff like that happens. That's because they didn't take actions to solve their issues. That's something that we see whenever we do an outbound reach, right? That now I handle it with the bank. I'm not going through foreclosure anymore when, they haven't done any actions to it. And the other side, if you do inbound marketing, these people are desperate. These people are going through some situation and you got to help them. That's why whenever we take this type of leads, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what's the issue, right? What's the problem for us to solve? You have that problem. You need cash. Well, here you go, right? This is the solution for your problem, even though it might not be the cash offer. Like you said, it could be a seller finance solution for them, right? So, or anything to avoid them from going to foreclosure. But finding out the problem and then going to your tool bag to get the solution, I think that's one of the big keys to get the deal on their contract.
Right. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about Facebook ads now.
Right.
So I know Google ads and Facebook ads work really well together. We've used that in our business. You've actually done some Facebook ads in the realtor side as well. Talk a little bit about how you've utilized Facebook ads, how we utilize in the business, and and kind of how to go about that.
Right. So Facebook ads is a great tool to have. Definitely, you're targeting a different demographics on Facebook ads. There are more elder people on Facebook that are looking at ads and clicking through your ads and submitting their information. We see a lot more of those leads through Facebook than through Google PPC. On Google PPC, we see more younger people that are more upbeat with technology and stuff like that. So demographics are completely different. You can also target audiences, right? You could create your own audience and target people that have visited Charlotte, not people that live in Charlotte, but has visited Charlotte. And then you target your ads to them. So whenever they go back to Florida, New York, they start seeing your ads because you visited Charlotte. So now it's like, hey, you want to buy a house in Charlotte, you're looking to move to Charlotte. So the person that came to visit Charlotte, they go back home and they start seeing ads about buying real estate. We utilize that. We also utilize it as a form of retargeting, right? So these are the people that go through our website and then they leave for any reason, right? The break is over, they go back and continue with their life. So they never put in their information, but we do retargeting, meaning that whenever they go back to Facebook, they will see our ads there as well. And that's why whenever you go online and start, like you go on Facebook and start looking for a water bottle, right? And then you go on Instagram, you start seeing the same ads. So that's just retargeting, right? So to stay in front of the people's mind, that's something that we're trying to accomplish. And Facebook is a great tool because a lot of people connect through Facebook. So you go on Google PPC, you don't give us your information, well, we're going to be knocking to you when you come. Our ads will be showing up on Facebook as well because of retargeting. Great tool.
Right. And I think that's where majority of our Facebook ads come from is the retargeting. Because like I said, you took the time to visit the website and then you ran out of time or something, or you're like, you're procrastinating. You don't want to take the time to put it in there. And so you start seeing these ads pop up. Alpha Bravo, I was just on their website yesterday. Oh, it's funny. I'm seeing an ad for them. Then time goes by. Maybe the next day comes up. You're on Facebook again. Oh, Alpha Bravo again. Dang, like maybe I should, like
annoying.
Yeah, these guys are annoying as hell. Like maybe I should talk to them. Another day goes by. See another ad from us. All right, you know what? Like I think I need to reach out to them. Maybe at this time it's a little more pressing. You've got some news. I don't know. That's like you know what? I gotta take action. Let me reach out to them. So that retargeting is very powerful.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that retargeting serves as for us like a funnel, right? So we put our ads for retargeting, but once you click that ad, we'll show you who we are and how we do business, right? We share with you our our reviews. We share with you how we our process of buying those properties. So the infrastructure to handle these leads are already there. You know, for somebody who's just starting, I would not suggest to jump right in it because the burn rate, right, the ad spend on a monthly basis is high. So you work your way up, right? I think you work your way up until you start getting those top shelf leads, which is, you know, those inbound leads. But to start off, going outbound, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
I agree with that. I mean, we basically start out cold calling and texting. We did a little bit of direct mail, but not a ton. And then, but that got us our reps in, right? Yeah. We were talking to a lot of people because you still get a lot of hand raisers. And I mean, nowadays, I mean, it takes like 1 out of every 60 or 70 leads to get a deal in cold calling and texting. Like it's something crazy. But I think it's good because you get those reps in, you're talking to sellers, you know, you're figuring out what works, what doesn't work as you're talking to them, how to get better at negotiating, you know, and then, so once you kind of get where it's like, okay, like I know what I'm doing, I have these different tools in the tool belt. That's whenever we were like, okay, let's look, we want longevity in this business. Right. And so I think that for longevity, we got them, we had to switch to, I think for longevity, it's a necessity to go into more of the inbound marketing because there's so many people that complain because they get blown up on their phone, you know, 20 times a day, 30 times a day, or they get text messages 24/7 because they might have missed a payment on their taxes and now they fell into that tax lien bracket, right, or delinquent tax bracket or whatever list you're pulling. And they're just getting blown up and they get so pissed. So like,
I be too.
Yeah. So like, you know, so when you finally talk to one of these guys and they're like,
what do you want?
What do you want? You know, and it's like, all right, that's not how we start the conversation off, you know? Yeah. And so by them coming to you, you know, you're already kind of in the driver's seat, you know, and you don't have to work through all that BS. And you're not throwing away that money too, because it is expensive. I mean, it is. There's a reason why it's more expensive than outbound marketing. It's because it works. It works really well, and you get really high quality leads. But if you don't know what to do with them, you're just throwing money away. Yeah. So yeah, we're a big fan of that. So let's talk a little bit about SEO. So SEO stands for search engine optimization, right? So, you know, that when you talk about Google or Yahoo or Bing or whatever, you know, search engine you use, search engine optimization, SEO basically is how well your website it performs and how well does it rank on these websites. So Google is the most common one, so we'll use that one. So I know they look at not only like how well your website is laid out, how it performs, all these different metrics of like, are people visiting your website from other means like PPC? PPC drives traffic to your website. Facebook ads drive traffic to your website. So how well are you able to convert those leads once they get onto your website to an actual lead? And so there's a lot of different ways you can go about kind of building up the SEO and higher ranking, but it works very well in tandem with all these other inbound marketing channels because, for example, you could have a PPC sponsored. So like whenever you go to Google, sell my house fast, there could be a sponsored website that says Alpha Bravo, and then three down from there. When you get away from the sponsored, if we're number one, they're like, okay, well, like you just saw us twice, so therefore, in a lot of people's minds, like they must be legit. You know, like they're like, if I see them twice, like why is that? Like let me click on their website. I mean, I think you know, the more exposure you have is people see that as they automatic kind of proof that like they must know what they're doing. Facebook, the more we can get in front of you, must be proof they know what they're doing. Whether you do or you don't, right? It's that social proof of kind of like, okay, I see them often, so therefore to me they mean something.
Right. So we spoke about the Google PPC, Facebook ads, and SEO, right? And I think with the SEO, it's a play, but it's a long-term play, right? If you want to have leads right now, I don't recommend SEO because it takes time to build that up. If you go Google PPC, yeah, you put in you do an ad spend every month, but you're getting these leads coming in to your inbox, so you can have more conversations with sellers, right? But yeah, with these three tools that we just share, a lot of people watching this are like, well, okay, you got Google PPC, Facebook ads, and also you have SEO. Well, I'm just learning real estate. How I'm gonna learn all these three, including real estate. So, how, Sway?
I don't think that it's necessary to learn these right away. I think that first of all, learn the basis of real estate, learn the basis of wholesaling or flipping, or you have to know that before you even get into this, right? Because if you just start marketing and don't know what you're doing, like I said, you're going to fumble these leads. So I think the best way to do it is first of all, learn the real estate, whatever sector you're going to, flipping, wholesaling, new construction, whatever, and then look into your marketing and figure out what marketing works best for. I think everyone's different, right? If you have more time, then and not a lot of money, then you can do cold calling, texting, direct mail, and it still works. There's nothing wrong with those methods. Those are still methods that work to this day. That I know large wholesalers, flippers that still utilize those that get a lot of deals done. Right. But if you don't have a lot of time, but you got some money, and the real estate, and you feel confident in your negotiation and being able to talk to these sellers, then you can start looking into Facebook ads, SEO, PPC, and start learning those. What we do, and I think what a lot of people can do, is there's a lot of smart people out there that you can hire.
Yes. The book, the Who Not How.
Who Not How.
Right? So we are here to that. It's who, not how. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know. But guess what? I have a couple coins in my pocket, and I could hire somebody who's expert at this so we could flatten the learning curve.
Right.
We advocate of that. We'll buy to learn something, but if we could buy, time, pretty much buying time.
Right.
Right? We read these books, it's like stories of different people that have failed in the past, so you learn from them.
Right.
So who, not how. So one thing as an entrepreneur, we want to solve every single problem in our business. At least that's what I see myself. I would like to solve everything.
Right.
I like to create process, procedures, and everything from a business. But we all have a ceiling, right? Whenever we were doing outbound marketing, I saw myself being a data analyst because outbound marketing is data driven, right? You have to keep tracks of your KPIs. You gotta find out what's the hang up rate. If it's a lot of variables. There's a lot of noises going around when it's cold calling. We've been through there, but who, not how. So I don't know how to do the Google ads. Let me go find somebody who's really good at Google ads.
Right.
We didn't go on Google. We didn't search who's good at SEO and then stuff like that. We just started asking around. At that point, we were at a mastermind, and somebody is like, "Hey, I have somebody that's doing this for my business, based out of Egypt." Maybe you could give it a try. We did that, right? That I remember that vividly because it went a switch pretty quickly. Like, yeah, we need to do inbound marketing. So we reach out to this person, interview him, and he's an expert, right? So every question that we had an answer for it. We're still learning the everything that has the ins and outs for the Google PPC, SEO. We don't need to learn 100%, but at least enough to make a sound decision on what ads I would like to keep up, right? But definitely going to be somebody driving that portion of your business. Right. At the end of the day, we're real estate investors, and I like to be focused on real estate rather than, data or Google PPC.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't agree with that more. And you can find very, very talented people that know the ins and outs of this stuff on Fiverr and what's the other one? Upwork. Yeah, I mean, there's so many freelancers out there where, I mean, this is what they do. They know everything you need to know. All you have to do is say, hey, like, this is what I'm looking for. And then it's just a simple conversation, and then try them out, trial and error. There's so many good people out there that people don't even realize. They can just go to Fiverr and say, hey, I need this done. Let me get some help.
Exactly.
So we covered kind of the basics of Google PPC, SEO, Facebook ads. I did want to talk just a little bit about social media.
Yep.
I think social media is another good way to generate leads as well. Because I think when you start social media, you have to have an end goal in mind with it, right? Who's your target audience? Who are you trying to reach? And so for us, we always try to inform people of what we're doing, how we're doing it. Also, a lot of our content is targeted around, building up relationships with private money lenders and things like that, because we fund everything through private money. But it can also but it's also got us leads as well. Like I've talked with a couple people like, hey, I saw your post. I have a family member who's going through something. Can you guys help her out? And next time I know, I'm on the phone call with them, trying to get a deal done with someone that just came organically through social media.
Right.
So how important is social media like to you?
So I think it's very important. But this year we started to tackle social media differently. Last year, the year before last, all these years we were consumers of social medias, right? We will be just on the phone scrolling up and down. So we have to change the mentality from being consumers of social media to be content creators.
Right.
I never signed up for this, but hey, here I am, right? Because I want to reach more people, right? It's hard for me to sit down and have a 30-minute conversation with each individual person that I like to meet. Maybe they could help me, or maybe I could help them. But going through social media, it's masses, it's thousands of people you could reach by just one video. So I work on the disposition side. So I work with a lot of investors. I have 3 deals in my pipeline that just came in back to back, posting on my stories. And I was able to sign like 1 or 2 deals from there. But more importantly, I was able to open up conversations with people that have been following me that we never spoken to before. So that opened up that door of creating a new relationship with more people. They're here locally in Charlotte. One of them is a big developer here in Charlotte that we're talking about, one of those deals in Charlotte. So the power of social media is big. It's big. I would say do it sooner rather than later. So yeah, I utilize social media to disposition our deals as well. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you can also use social media, because what happens is you can get traction from social media to your websites, and so all these interplay with each other. You're driving traffic to your website, you're converting leads, you're building up this proof that they see your website, they see you're on social media, like they know who you are, and they feel like they almost have a connection with you before they even pick up the phone to call you, or before they input their information. So that is a huge benefit, because I can't tell you how many times, people come up to us and they're like, hey, I saw your post, or I see you on social media or whatever, and I've never met this person in my entire life.
Right.
And they immediately, already know a little bit about me, where I've never met this person. Or even we've had sellers and buyers too. For example, the other day we had a buyer that came by and was like, hey, like, they're dropping off a due diligence check, right? Mm-hmm. Originally, like, what happened? Like they didn't want to just wire it to us, right?
Yeah. So we usually take the deposit, and we usually ask for Zelle. It's 2023. I don't do checks. Give me just do a Zelle deposit. So it's like, well, I don't know who you are, because we're doing first time doing business. So if you got, us, we have nothing on hide. So I was like, okay, dude, you know what? Either go deliver it to the attorney or come to our office and deliver your check. Whatever makes you feel comfortable that we legit, do that.
Right.
So then I left that up to him, but the next morning he just texted me, hey, dude, I just saw your Instagram post. You guys are legit. Here's my cell.
Right.
The deposit. So with other people, like, oh, okay, cool. I was already waiting for them to think, okay, maybe you guys are not legit, because, there's fraud going on out there. It happens. So I understand them. So I'm like, you know what?
You came from a fraud department in the bank, right?
Exactly, yeah. So this thing happens all the time. So in order to avoid all of that stuff, we just say, hey, go deliver that due diligence check to the attorney's office or come to our office. But now social media, you have the website, so it gives you more credibility to those people that are, looking from outside inside.
Right. And then just to add another story on top of that, so there's a seller we're dealing with right now, and she has multiple houses she's trying to sell. And right now we're just dealing with one. She wants to do them one at a time, and we're working through one right now. And she texted me the other day and was like, hey, I found you guys on social media. I'm excited to work with you guys. I can't wait to get this one done. I got more properties to sell you. And it's little things like that where you don't even realize that, like, you think no one's watching, or you think you're just, sometimes it doesn't feel like, you're not getting a ton of comments or a ton of responses, but people are still watching.
Yeah.
People still, like, they see, okay, like they're doing their thing, right? So it builds that credibility, which is very important.
Yeah.
So, I think today was a great episode. We talked a lot about the ins and outs of the different types of inbound marketing. So PPC, SEO, Facebook ads, and social media, right? So any last comments before we head off here?
I say, so all these the tips that we're sharing with you, it takes time to get there, right? I'm not saying that you can start by Google PPC. There's the start point. You decide where you want to start, right?
Right.
My starting point was way different than your starting point
Right.
and your starting point. So just do it. Just pick something and stick with it 3 months, 6 months, and see how well that goes or how bad that goes, so you can make some adjustments to it. But definitely work your way up. You don't want to go on your big burn rate doing Google Ads, Google PPC just because other people are doing it, and then you get a foreclosure lead and you don't know how to handle that foreclosure. So now you burn your money and you don't know, and you fumble the deal. So no, don't do that. Go ahead and start cold calling, get your reps in, have that conversation. If you're just starting, the most important thing to you right now is having those conversations. You know, those rebuttals from the sellers. How you gonna say whenever the seller's telling you, hey, this offer is way too low. So how you gonna come back to that from that? So pick a point and start, man. I like to leave you guys with that. Pick a point and just start.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Don't overthink it. Just start.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining into the Alpha Bravo podcast. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hope you guys got some good out of it. Definitely don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review. It helps us out a lot. Follow us on social media at Alpha Bravo NC. And if you have any questions, DM us there. We're always available there. But thanks so much for joining us, and Alpha Bravo out.
No shot, no gimmick, no gimme look. No plan, go get it, no giving up. No gas, get a mask like give it up. Gotta get it, gotta kill it.